time of 6:20. That's right, there's a clock up there. You do that. For Pledge of Allegiance, I have Ms. Jen Houston.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we'll have a roll call. Ms. Secretary, please.
Chairperson Richard,
Late but here.
Vice Chairperson Cohens,
Present.
Commissioner Houston.
Present.
Everybody's here that can be.
Thank you. Oral communications. This is the time for the public to address the Planning Commission on items not on the public hearing portion of the agenda after obtaining permission to proceed by the presiding officer. Speakers should state their first state their full name, address for the record, as not required. The speakers shall limit their address to 3 minutes. Any public comments that are discriminatory, defamatory, or otherwise not protected speech will not be considered consented to or otherwise adopted by the Planning Commission in its deliberations and findings. As a courtesy to others, please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices. The Planning Commission strives to treat all participants with civility, and we ask that you do the same. Is there anyone who wishes to address the Planning Commission on issues not on the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, I will close oral communications. Item E.
Tonight we have a presentation from the West Basin Municipal Water District, which concerning non-functional turf ban on commercial properties and statewide water conservation framework. I'll let the speaker do the introduction of himself.
Thank you, Commissioners, City staff, members of the public. Can you hear me okay? Okay. My name is Daryl Ramos-Young. I'm the Public Information Specialist with West Basin Municipal Water District, and appreciate you giving me a brief time to provide this update on this very long title, this non-functional turf irrigation ban on commercial, industrial, and institutional properties. This is just an FYI item for all of you, so you can be aware of this regulation that's coming down the train track in 3 years that may impact the city, more likely possibly impact businesses that you can also provide information to, direct them to West Basin Municipal Water District for any support that they may need. To give the proper framework of this regulation, let me just review who West Basin is so you can understand who I am and the agency and what support we offer. I provided to the commissioners this folder that has lots of paper collateral if you're interested in some of our water conservation programs, as well as a hard copy of this presentation so you can refer to it later. I have 6 additional copies for members of the public if you're into paper collateral. Otherwise, all of our information will be found on our website, westbasin.com. I'll leave those there for anybody who would like. So let me go ahead and launch into who West Basin is. We are a special governmental district incorporated in 1947 to provide the wise water resources management for the South Bay cities. We are governed by 5 civic leaders who are elected into their positions. So much like your city councils, they provide staff with the direction, the policy to provide the wise management of water resources. Our service area is 185 miles large. It incorporates 17 cities and serves approximately 1 million people. Hawthorne, the city of Hawthorne, not only are you all awesome in your proactive stance in making a really wonderful quality of life for all your residents and businesses, you also have 3 of our directors that represent your voices on our board. So depending on where you live or where your businesses may reside, you can share any concerns about the water supply, water rates, wonderful ideas for alternative water supplies to either Director Houston, who serves Division 4, Director Gloria Gray, who serves the northern portion of Hawthorne, in Division 2, and Director Deere, who serves and represents the people and businesses in the southern portion of Hawthorne in Division 5. Just an FYI. If you want to reach out to them, you can directly reach them through our webpage on the Board of Directors webpage, or you can contact me. I can forward any inquiries you have directly to them. As a local wholesaler, many people aren't familiar with our government agency because our direct customers are these 4 municipalities and investor-owned utilities. So as a local wholesaler, we work closely with these 9 customers to identify what water they need allocated to provide to their residents and businesses every year, and we work with them every year on determining the appropriate water rates. They will be the ones who directly bill their customers. So West Basin, the local water wholesaler, and we pass on that water to these customers who bill their customers directly. And for this upcoming regulation, these are the entities that are going to be held accountable to this irrigation ban of non-functional turf. Not residences, not businesses, but these entities are the ones who are going to be accountable to this water budget, if you want to call it that. So what is this regulation that I'm here to share about? All of us have, for the longest time, because of the drought, have been doing our best as residents and business owners to squeeze every drop out of the water because of drought conditions. So the state has just realized, well, it's time to make sure commercial properties, institutions, and industrial properties also do their job to make water conservation a California way of life. And so with this new regulation, basically Assembly Bill 1572, which was signed into law back in October, prohibits the irrigation of non-functional turf. That simply means decorative lawns. That prevents them from using drinking water on decorative lawns for commercial, industrial, and institutional, and homeowner association properties. Okay? The exceptions are any lawn that is used for recreational purposes, they can go ahead and continue watering with drinking water. Any gathering space, it's fine, as long as it's being used for a function. Cemeteries are fine. Lawns that are still using recycled water are fine. And the state realizes the benefits of ensuring that our trees still have the water they need, because we need that canopy, we can have that solar radiation heating up our communities. So that's still permitted. Where is this decorative turf? I think we can all think of areas in our own communities, in our own neighborhoods where it can be identified. Those median strips, those commercial properties or businesses that have nice little strips of grass that nobody stands on. It looks beautiful, but nobody's standing on it, playing ball on it, gathering for festivals or concerts, right? That's what's being targeted by the state. Within the West Basin service area, these orange areas show all the commercial, industrial, and institutional properties that we have identified in our GIS mapping. So these orange areas have the potential to save lots of water, save lots of drinking water from being applied on decorative lawns. This is a loaded slide, but it shows that there are many different calculations that the state of California, the State Water Resources Control Board, is reviewing right now to come up with the calculations that these water purveyors are going to be held to for supplying this water in upcoming years. So the calculations that these water purveyors are going to have to be accountable to is what the residential indoor water use is that's already been identified. Right? 55 gallons, starting next year it's supposed to be 47 gallons. Ultimately, 2030 it's going to be, I think it's 30 gallons. The residential outdoor use, that's still being calculated by the state. The big one right now is CII, the commercial, industrial, institutional water use outside. Water losses already been calculated, and there's variables there. This is just to ensure that the state doesn't come down too hard on the urban water retailers, because they realize there are different factors within the state itself. Whatever region these poor water purveyors are, they're being dealt different geographies, different water supplies, different socioeconomic factors that they're all going to have to deal with. So the state is giving the water purveyors the flexibility to meet these standards that are in development. So I'm here just to provide you with the heads up. This is coming down the train tracks, but as far as how these regulations are going to be implemented, we will know most likely towards the end of summer. And these are supposed to be implemented as far as adopted by January 2025, but not actually take place until January 27 for public properties. And you can see here for commercial properties, there's still a grace period of 2028. And then for homeowners associations and similar common areas, 2029. And then should there be funding available for disadvantaged communities for public properties, these regulations will be implemented in 2031. And in 2030, there should be in place some sort of self-regulation reporting that the state is going to require from all CII properties. Again, what that's going to be, we're waiting to see. So what can public agencies, commercial properties, institutional or industrial properties do now? Well, we know that if there is large acreage for decorative turf or decorative lawns on these properties, it can take a long time for change, right? There's lots of planning that needs to be involved. Staff need to be trained, or consultants need to be procured. And then what is this? How do you actually tear out a lawn and change it into an aesthetically pleasing landscape that uses less water? That can be a heavy lift. There could also be, especially if it's a public space, lots of buy-in, just educating the community, your stakeholders that may have lots of influence or react negatively if they see their favorite lawn, which is purely decorative, being removed. And they don't understand the benefits of, oh, a new California native garden is going in that's habitat for the local wildlife, or this is a drought-friendly, ocean-friendly landscape, which makes more sense for a Mediterranean climate. Hey, and we're actually reducing our irrigation water bill. That's wonderful. So there may be that education that's involved, depending if it's a public property or even a commercial business. So there may be some buy-in. Identifying the resources that are available for this renovation, identifying if there's political support or political capacity building that's required. Anyway, so that's why I appreciate you giving me the time today, just to give those that may be impacted in a couple years time to really put their ducks in a row and develop a strategy. The last thing is the peer-to-peer mentoring, because this isn't new. There have been some innovative agencies or businesses that have already torn out their decorative lawn and put in some really beautiful Mediterranean landscapes or California native landscapes, including the city of Hawthorne. You all, back in 2014, did a beautiful job with your surrounding landscape. You walk through your main door, and there's Mediterranean, ocean-friendly landscaping right outside both doors, which West Basin helped support the city staff and the council in doing that. So as far as resources that are available, we want to make sure that public agencies in the city itself, commercial businesses, and industrial complexes and institutions, they know that they don't have to do it themselves. We have the resources as a public agency to support them should they need that support. So we do have a webpage dedicated to demonstration gardens around the South Bay. Our own facility in Carson and over in El Segundo, the water recycling facility, which City Manager Norris brought lots of staff over to visit the water recycling process. We have a nice landscape that demonstrates ocean-friendly landscaping. And also one of the 16 sites listed on this webpage includes, I don't know if you can see it right here, but Hawthorne City Hall. I'm so glad to see that your landscape is still beautiful and doing well out front. So this is a site, and I don't know if the city staff who helped install or currently maintain it are still available, but they can be a resource to all those other CII properties that are maybe looking to adjust to this irrigation regulation, okay? For those city staff that might be pulled into overseeing renovation of a particular site, the new landscape, there are online sessions that they can always join. This is a list of such virtual sessions if they want to get a dabbling exposure to what may be involved, so they're more effective with their consultants if you're going to go that way. Next week, we have an online West Basin chat. So those individuals or businesses that may be thinking about applying for a turf removal rebate for their effort, they can ask the staff person virtually during this half-an-hour sessions the ins and outs of how to do that. We also have recorded resources on our website too. So, you know, if they can't join the virtual live session, they can take a look at what kind of resources were shared in a prior session. And then, you know, there's money out there. If a business has to do a turf removal, why not put money back in your pocket at the same time? So we provide a turf removal rebate for commercial properties, $3 per square foot, up to 5,000 square feet. Who couldn't do without $150,000 back in their pocket? And then for public agencies, we even offer more per square foot, an additional $1 for a total of $4 per square foot up to 200,000 square feet. There's lots of resources out there. This is 3 of them that provide lots of different programs and incentives to make this as easy and painless as possible. Feel free to share these with any businesses that may be coming your way or institutions that may need some guidance. Or again, you have my business card in the folder, just direct them to me and I'll make sure that they get the support that they need. Hawthorne has been part of a wonderful effort of our customers region-wide that have been reducing water use over the years. And this past year has been a record low of water use across the West Basin service area here in the South Bay cities. And Hawthorne's water use has continued to decline. So wonderful job in being very proactive in making water conservation a way of California life. And we've been wonderful recycled water customer users too. In fact, there are over 16 sites here in the city that are using recycled water. And what I like to say is every drop of recycled water made is a drop of drinking water saved, because that drinking water would be used to keep these medians nice and green and ball fields green. But by using recycled water instead, it really stretches the drinking water supply out for everyone here in Southern California. So, City of Hawthorne, you've been wonderful in contributing to over 250 billion gallons of water produced to date since our water recycling facility has been in operation since 1995. We provide lots of additional education programs and water conservation programs that both residents, businesses, institutions, and industry can take advantage of to become more informed about why it's so important to take care of our water supply, but also, more importantly, give them the tools to really save water directly while putting money back in their pocket. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, thank you for that presentation. Does the Planning Commission have any questions? You got it?
No, just thank you for your time and thank you for this presentation. And I love that this is happening because, you know, it is. You see these green spaces of beautiful things that no one can use, right? So it's great. And I love that we're going to get to see all these beautiful changes. And it's good for us to think of it now of when we are making all of these decisions of what's happening for the planning and zoning. If people do have big green spaces, we now know to say, hey, do you know that in 3 years, you're gonna have to dig that up. Let's think of something else. So thank you for educating us on that. I
Sure
appreciate it.
thing, sure thing. And still can be green, it's just a different type of green.
Okay. So if we have any additional questions, just to recap, we have, it's Division 2, 4, and 5, correct? So if we have any additional questions, we just go to the representatives there, correct?
You can always talk to the director.
Okay.
But if you want to send it to me, you have my business card there,
Perfect.
and I can make sure that it gets to the right staff person. As far as more policy and initiatives, and if you have questions about that, or you want your vote to count more, then reaching out to a director makes all the difference.
Okay. We just one more question real quick. With things moving so quickly, when a motion is made or something changes within the law or something happens, an action happens, now do we reach out to, how do we know when that happens? For instance, like there's a vote or a change or something, is that something that you guys are going to come up to us, or is that something that we need to reach out to you guys?
What we're trying to do is, I'm a part of the Speakers Bureau program, going to the different cities to keep the cities informed.
Okay.
So if there is a change in the law, we will notify you. If you're interested, you can contact me. I can put you on our database for our e-newsletter, which we provide regular updates as far as changes in regulations too.
Okay, thank you. Well, again, thank you, Mr. Ramos Young, for educating us. Beautiful speech. It's very informative, so thank you again.
Thank you for your time.
Gotcha. Before you take off, I did actually have, this might be more of a informational question. I noticed you mentioned about medians being watered with recycled water versus drinking water. And in some of these spaces, I was wondering, is there a particular benefit to us watering spaces with drinking water over recycled water? Or is there any reason that someone would particularly choose to use drinking water to water a green space rather than recycled water?
Because it's through city partnerships, getting the recycled water pipeline has been a heavy lift. There's lots of investment as far as putting a separate pipeline in for recycled water. Up until that point, all irrigation is basically drinking quality water throughout our cities, and that has been the historic infrastructure. West Basin's directors back in the 1980s, however, realized, why are we using drinking water on outdoor spaces? So they came up and helped build this water recycling facility, and now we have over 100 miles of this special recycle pipeline spread throughout the South Bay cities.
Gotcha, okay. And then also, there were some sites here that were mentioned that we have recycled water clean customers on the last
Yes.
slide here. There were 3 that were asterisked, and I was just wondering what the asterisks were.
It means that they have 2 water meters at that site versus 1.
Oh, is that one for drinking water and one for
Yeah.
recycling? Oh, just,
It means they have 2 water meters for that recycled water
Oh.
pipeline.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, appreciate it.
Mhm.
Okay, we are on to the Planning Commission consent calendar.
Thank you. On the consent calendar tonight, we have application EC 2024-0001, which is an exterior color approval for an apartment building at 4035 West 134th Street, and EC 2024-0003, exterior color approval for commercial building at 12939 Hawthorne Boulevard. Just the 2 items.
Gotcha. Okay. So now is the time and place to.
Well, at this point, if anyone wishes to discuss any of them individually, we can pull them off of the consent calendar. And otherwise, we just need a motion and a vote.
Gotcha. Anybody pulling anything? Nope. Okay. Say it again.
I said motion to approve.
There you go.
Second.
Will Secretary call for the roll? Or call for the
Yes. Vice Chairperson Cohens,
Approve.
okay. Commissioner Houston,
Approved.
and Chairperson Richard?
Approved.
Okay, those items are approved. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're on design review application DR 2024-0006. And
I'll be making that presentation. I'm just waiting for the, to do the slideshow. There we go. Okay, this is the application for a cannabis retail store. The agenda unfortunately says with consumption, and that's not the case in here. This is a
Yeah, I got mixed up here too. You said DR 2024-006.
Yeah, that's
Right?
that's what I
Okay.
have here.
So we're going to hop on to a different one?
Am I
Am I
on-
correct?
No, I
Did I
think
skip
this,
one?
I think that what's happening is the script may not match the agenda.
We're at
Okay.
G on our agenda.
My apologies for that.
Oh, G was my last one.
Now go to the,
Oh, F, no, okay.
We
got it.
should
It's
be
the-
on, the cannabis.
Conditional use?
Yes,
Which one is that? 20? I see it. Okay, yes, so that's me.
okay.
Yeah, that's G, conditional use permit CU 2023-0014.
Yeah,
There you
okay. So this is conditional use permit CU 2023-0014 and design review application DR 2024-0001.
Okay.
Okay. So this is for a cannabis retail store. This is the final of the 6 that were approved by the ordinance. This is at 11425 Hawthorne Boulevard. The location is shown on this vicinity map. You can see that it's very close to the corner of Imperial Highway and Hawthorne Boulevard. It's a few properties south on the west side of the street, south of Imperial Highway, I mean. You may be familiar with this building. This was Mi Casita restaurant. Back in the day, there was a fire, and it was never recovered, and so it's been in this condition for a number of years. The lot is 15,660 square feet. The building is 3,500 square feet, and the retail portion you'll see is 1,587 square feet. This is the site plan, the red outline showing the property in question. The gray box is the building, and you can see the parking is hidden around the back and has access from 115th Street. It also has access, which is shown by the green arrow, off of Hawthorne Boulevard as an in only. And the yellow arrow indicates approximately where the front door would be for pedestrians. This is the floor plan. It's essentially a big square retail area with 2 little cutouts for equipment and supplies, I think, or utility closet. Everything is shown here that's in white is back of house, so the customers would only have access to a portion of this pink area. There's also the sales counters and display areas are all in this area. This is the transformation that they're proposing for this building. It's quite a transformation, I'd say. I think it's a very positive change for the city to have that old Mexican restaurant converted into this nice modern look. This is a nighttime view, which is pretty good, I think. And here's some interior shots. This is the entrance area. This is what the retail area is proposed to look like. Another view. The conditions of approval are the same that we've seen on other applications. We have general conditions, there's retail-specific conditions, delivery and distribution conditions if they're ever applicable. The operational condition is there. There's 2 of those. And some miscellaneous conditions, and then finally Public Works Department conditions. I'm not going into them in any depth because they're available for anyone to read, and they're the same as we've seen 5 other times. Okay. So with that, our recommendation is that the Planning Commission approve the resolution 2024-11 that would grant the conditional use permit and the design review. And I know that the applicant has a presentation they would like to follow up with.
That's good.
Gotcha. Okay.
I started to, but while we're waiting for that, I would like to point out that there was an error in the agenda, and this is not a consumption application.
I have a question for that then.
Yeah.
On the last page, it said the hours were 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., 2 a.m. for the lounge. What would the lounge be?
This is probably an example of a cut and paste.
Got it.
Do we, oh,
You what? Go ahead. I don't know either.
My apologies. New chairs. No problem.
Good evening, Commissioners and City staff. My name is Jason Park. I'm one of the two co-owners of Herbarium Hawthorne LLC. My partner, Adi Mayri, is actually on a family emergency leave, so he could not be here today. He was actually very anticipated to be here today, but he could not make it. My partner has 14 years of experience in the cannabis industry. Myself, I'm going on my 4th year. My partner has 3 operating locations currently and is experienced with this whole supply chain from the seed to sale operations from cultivations to manufacturing, distribution, and retail sales. My background is in finance, actually completely away from this industry, but I got partnered with my partner, and this is my 4th going on to this industry. Wanted to share a brief intro about Herbarium. We're a lifestyle brand that combines cannabis fashion with bold, beautiful colors that represents the Southern California culture, providing top quality, safe products, and best customer service at affordable prices has always been our focus. We strive to educate our customers about numerous medicinal benefits of the cannabis plant and advocating for those wrongfully imprisoned for past cannabis crimes. We look forward to working together with the city and contributing to the growth of the city and the community. It's been a long 2-year journey, as you can, and I wanted to introduce you guys to our design team as well, who will be working with us to make that property that you saw come to life. And these are some of our state licenses that we currently hold. We currently have 3 active licenses, one in Los Angeles, one in Needles, 2 in Needles actually, one and we just opened in Crenshaw District. It's a social equity establishment called the Frida Trappers, and 3 in process, 1 in Hawthorne, and 1 in the Fairfax District, and 1 just got approved in Queens, New York. We also have active cultivation, distribution, manufacturer licenses as well. And let's see here. These are some of the Herbarium's community involvements throughout the 2.5 years that we've been here. I want to introduce you to our architect as well, Cheryl Montanez, who will be able to assist addressing any of the questions you guys may have.
Okay, does the Planning Commission have any questions? Any questions of the applicant?
Or staff.
I figured I was gonna go back to you after because we missed it. Yeah, or staff, that's fine. Okay, so I have one question. You mentioned that Herbarium as a brand is not only a lifestyle brand, but a fashion brand as well, and you work on advocacy for people who've been incarcerated around cannabis. So I was wondering, what does that look like for you? What does that advocacy work look like? What are some of the things you guys are doing to help folks who have been impacted by the justice system as it relates to cannabis?
We've been working with the communities that's organizations that deal with those establishments of where that deal with imprisonment, wrongfully doings, and right now the prime example is the social equity applicant that we're working on in the Crenshaw District, where he's actually a 51% owner, and he's the living proof of the opportunity that's presented in LA City, and we're taking advantage of that.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Wondering if there is any more going forward information that you can share about how it is that you're continuing to work with folks, especially when you're moving into areas that are of lower socioeconomic status, folks that have more likely to have been impacted that way. Because I do appreciate what you're saying is that you have a minority owner who's part of a new business there, but I just like to see, as you're continuing to be involved in communities, that if there's some more active work that you could do with people who are currently here.
Yeah, we've actually, my partner would probably be the more person to answer this. Unfortunately, he's not here, but I know that he's very well involved in dealing with imprisonments and organizations that deal help people that try to sell and, merchandises that they have and things like that in our stores. And obviously, we carry a lot of, social equity owned, merchandises to promote that as well.
And I
Thank-
know too, just to help out, there's charity that they give to that helps support that like legally side, but mainly they're helping with it's the clothing and the branding.
Okay.
Helping get those businesses going, so they're ancillary businesses around cannabis. So that's where the clothing and the branding. I've done a couple of their facilities, so to help you out there.
Gotcha. Anyone else?
Again, this might be for staff, but I'm going back down to the hours of operation. Again, it says 6 to 2 a.m. And then sale of non-cannabis food and products and live entertainment.
Yeah, the sale of non-cannabis, again, that's related to the, to consumption lounges, and we'll go through and strip those extraneous language out. Live entertainment, we've kept in every application, even if the applicant hasn't asked for it, just in case at some point they want to have a promotion or something. We don't have to go in and amend everything.
Okay, got it.
And then as for the hours of operation, we should confirm with the applicant that those are the hours that they intend, because this is the chance to correct it if they want to change it.
Yeah, so I know, if I'm not mistaken, the ordinance says it's from 6 a.m. to 10, but our operating hours will be 9:30 to 9:30 p.m., 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. So,
So
yeah.
we'll leave it in the language. as
Yeah,
the-
we'll leave it as is, and then they're covered.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're able to operate till 2? I mean, that's just giving them options, just
it's
overall.
just-
But they can't sell past 10.
Okay. And if that does happen, of course, there,
It's not going to happen. If you want to change it to.
no, that's
to-
fine. I don't have a problem, personally, I don't have a problem with that. But
Okay.
I'm just worried about the security. So say that we do, say things change and you decide to close either at 10 p.m. or 1 p.m. Security-wise, I would assume, this is just an assumption, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, if your closing hours, say, is at 2 a.m., I would assume that the security would stay until maybe 3 a.m. or until the last employee leaves. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. We won't have our stores open till 2 a.m., but we will have one security guard 24 hours that will be on site to, in the facility, and 2 guards during the daytime during business hours,
Okay,
which is 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m.
gotcha. And I think this is a staff question, so I don't know if I should just
Go for it.
Just really quickly, I know I saw a distribution center, so I haven't seen a distribution center at all approach to us. I guess there's, because of the ordinances and
Because
so
the
forth.
ordinance
we
doesn't
don't-
require that. That's
Okay,
right.
that's how it's-
That was in
okay.
the staff report as
Gotcha.
information only.
Okay, I just wanted to recap on that one. Also, the lighting. I'm always concerned about lighting.
Yeah.
And I want to know, what's the process in monitoring the lighting, just in case something happens, that the lighting is too strong, it's blinking too much, and it's just a disturbance within the neighborhood and the residents? How are we going to manage that, just in case for future?
We would manage that as any other nuisance. So we could require subsequently some shielding on some side if it was projecting into a residential window, for example. But I think that the placement of the lighting on the north side of the building is not likely to be impacting any residential. It would be facing the Starbucks, I believe.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Yeah. We could also make a condition that it include a automatic dimmer so that it's turned down in the nighttime when the ambient light is less. This is very common with digital signs, for example. They're very bright in the daytime, so you can see them, but at night they don't need to be so bright.
It's part of actually how they are manufactured now because of the California, all the lighting and green code. So there's code that's written to go for just that reason. We have to do a lighting plan with the lighting on the outside of the building to show that it doesn't exceed certain parameters.
Okay. My concern is this, regarding light, because I don't, there's businesses and you want to make sure you advertise, so you do need lighting. So, but my thing is that certain hours of the day and so forth, I'm just worried about after hours. And I know that there's conditions, but is there something on the CUP? Because I didn't see it, but I just maybe, is there something in the CUP that just in case that, hey, this is a problem, or it may be a problem?
No.
Is there something like that that we can control? Is that still, would that be considered a nuisance though?
As I
under our
mentioned, though,
ordinances?
it's controlled by the municipal code under the nuisance ordinances. So, but given that the green code apparently has this requirement for dimming, I don't anticipate this to be a problem, and it's on the north side of the building facing other commercial uses. And I assume it will be on all the time, or will it?
We're gonna leave them on after their
It's probably
LEDs,
better
so
for
they could-
security purposes if it is.
Security-wise, that's the rub, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
We like
thinking.
to light around the whole building
Okay.
for security purposes, so there's no dimly lit corners for people to hide in and hang out.
Okay, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
concern too. 'cause-
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
the code calls out for the exterior lighting, it can't shine out too
Correct.
far. So everything's just down facing. As far as the colored lights on the side of the building, they will adjust, like brighter during the day, like he's saying. That's kind of in the manufacturing specs for California products these days.
Yeah.
So, those will dim down, and plus energy efficiency, all of the above. Keeping California green.
And with regard to parking lot lighting and any other lighting on the front or the side or the rear of the building, the municipal code does have regulations that will need to be adhered to, and the light cannot spill into adjoining properties.
Okay. That is, and I noticed, I guess this is a staff question on the bikes. I noticed that there was there's going to be a couple of bike
Parking spaces?
parking spaces,
Yeah,
yes.
with a bike rack.
But I did notice that under where the Starbucks is at, the bike lane stops. So I guess I'm assuming that's something that we're going to work on probably, just to make sure that we do have bike lanes, just for safety
There-
issues and stuff like that, I guess, in the future.
Yeah, there
Is that-
is a master bicycle plan for the city,
Okay.
but that's administered and built out by the Public Works Department.
Okay. And also, I was going to ask you, because I know I went to the facility, and I noticed a lot of grass is overgrown and so forth. And I'm going to assume that you would have mentioned maybe that if there is a flooding zone there. Is there a flooding zone or anything like that?
Not aware
On
of
the
one.
elevation, just to make sure that,
What do you mean by flooding zone?
like, when it rains and so forth, because I know we were having trouble on Prairie. I'm not sure if that has been fixed, where there's flooding that occurs within those intersections, but I'm not sure if this was one of them.
I haven't been made aware of there being a flooding problem in this area.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not really sure
I
if there
haven't
was
heard
anything
that.
that you're aware of. Okay, but that's it for me. Oh, one more question, and that's it. I noticed locally. Are you going to try to hire locally? Because I know it wasn't mentioned, but is there like a percentage that you may be hiring locally?
We're striving to hire 100% locally.
Oh, okay.
And we've been working with South Bay workforce as well, and different job fairs in the other cities that we work in.
Okay.
So that's our goal.
Okay. Well, we do thank you for that.
Absolutely.
We appreciate
Yeah,
that.
Definitely.
And also, as the owner, we do appreciate you showing up. It's greatly appreciated.
You're welcome.
I mean, I love the design.
Waiting for
It's
it for a
beautiful.
very long time.
The building looks beautiful, too. Thank you.
Through the chair, I have a legal question to ask. I've heard on the news that federal law, the cannabis is moving to Schedule 3. And how would that affect your business once it's open? And where's the status of that law?
I wish it can get done
Affect us
sooner
better.
because they've been talking about this for quite some time. But it'll affect our business depending on if they're going to give us tax. They're taxing us like crazy right now. But if we get some tax breaks, then that'll help a lot. But I know they'll give us access to banking systems because right now banking systems are very limited. So we're prone to robberies, thefts, and target for that. So hopefully it can be sooner than later.
Does Plan Commission have any other questions for the applicant or staff?
No, that was going to be actually, well, it's not really a staff question. This is an after fact of, on that Schedule 3, because I'm concerned about that. I just want to make sure that we're prepared for it if it comes down the pipeline for that change for the cannabis business. If it does, or it does, say it passes for the Schedule 3.
Yeah,
I want to make sure that Hawthorne is prepared for that. So I don't know if I
that
have to
like-
make a directive or anything like that to just make sure
It's
that.
not something.
We're
we
we're
can think
aware
about.
of it. Obviously, our city attorney's aware of it, and the police department is aware of it as well. So
Okay.
everybody will be gearing up for it. It's not going to be an instantaneous change, so we'll have time to prepare.
Okay. That's it for me.
Okay. We'll say, again, thank you. We appreciate your presentation. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys. So is there, got the applicant, is there anyone who wishes to address the planning commission on this issue? Please make a line up front. Okay?
Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. I was running out of here. My name is Ruben Sanchez. I'm with the North Hawthorne Community Association. I know they were speaking about the, what's it called, Herbarium community involvement and, well, the shops. Our concern has always been that they have done the studies, the businesses adjacent to it, there's a couple of them that serve alcohol and beer and wine, and liquor and all that, and have also live entertainment. Is that part of the process here? Because I know they can't be as far, like a couple of, what's it called, the radius, I'm sorry, I'm still out of breath. Radius.
Yeah, a separation distance, yeah.
Yeah, separation distance, thank you. And with these two businesses where they serve alcohol and beer and wine and all that, is that part of it? Can that be connected to it? Haven't really read through the whole process.
They're not, there's no requirement for separation there. And,
Because now you got weed, alcohol, beer,
well,
wine,
yeah.
entertainment. Like, you really put a damper on thing in North Hawthorne there.
well, the one in the middle is a restaurant, though, so, I mean, you know, that's a little bit different. I know the bar that you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
That one has had its problems over the years. We don't anticipate that, and we've taken a lot of precautions to make sure the security is very tight at this. When you heard them mention that 24 hours on-site security guard, who will be also responsible for, you know, checking the premises outside of the building. Even when they're closed, and when they're open, they're going to have 2 security guards, and these will be armed guards, I believe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other built-in precautions that were written into the cannabis ordinance that
Yes.
should make this much less of a problem than in any of the other, you know, past nuisances that you've referenced with regard to alcohol. And generally speaking, although not strictly speaking, but generally speaking, we're talking about different customers. They're not.
Well, the building is owned by the same owner,
That may
to
be.
the understanding of.
Yeah,
the
but there's
community.
no partnering that is being planned here. They're
Well, there's
not
no
they're not
distancing-
operating.
There's no distancing between
there's-
alcohol and,
No, there's no distancing because there would be nothing left in the city if we did that. There's just too many bars.
well, it's right next to it. It's
yeah,
like
I know.
like a wall separates.
That was not built into the ordinance, no. And they're not permitted
Wow.
to serve food, and they're not permitted to serve alcohol. They're not permitted to serve anything, actually. They can't even serve cannabis other than just sell it. So this is just a retail store.
Well, yeah, the bar in question is like, you know, there have been murders in that bar. So
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
is a different
Did
problem. This is a
anyone
different.
talk to the law enforcement about that? In
Absolutely.
regards to safety and so on?
Yes, they were heavily involved in the entire process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get any names on who was involved?
Um,
Because last
yeah,
time
well,
when
I'm
they
trying to-
started the whole thing, it was some IT guy.
No. It was,
Yes.
no, the process was started with, what is it, is he a sergeant now or Kenny Craig? Lieutenant Kenny Craig. He was a sergeant when he started, I think, but he's been involved from the beginning, as well as Chief Tomatani. But Kenny Craig has been the point person for the police department for all of these applications and is still involved. And I think it's Mitchell is the other officer that I'm aware of that is involved with the plan checking process as these things go through, the security plans, and making sure that you know the security that they're proposing, both physically in terms of cameras, lighting, and also you know, process-wise, you know, who's gonna be there? Is it gonna be an armed guard or I think they're all armed guards, but how many armed guards? All of that is being addressed through the police department directly, without you know, the planning commission or the
Well,
planning
it sounds
staff.
like it's going to be a dangerous spot if they're going to have armed guards, don't you think? But if you have
hold on.
like, dispensary.
Excuse me, guys. I just want to make
Yes,
a
go
point. Greg, I was stopping just to make sure that I allowed you an opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
But we do ask folks to keep their remark to 3 minutes. I'm not saying your
Yeah.
remark time has been expired because your response.
Because I took most of it, yes.
Yeah. So, I do want
I'll
to
yield back
just
my
at least
time.
give Mr.
Yeah,
Sanchez the
I'm sorry.
opportunity to get his 3 minutes to make a statement.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to give you your
Basically, I
time back.
wanted
Go
to
ahead.
get that straightened out, if they can clarify a little bit in regards of if that was allowed, to have a business like right adjacent to, like the wall is separating where there's served some alcohol, beer and wine, and there's also been issues in I think one of the businesses as well. And to also know, that's kind of like I wanted to be noted as that, because we weren't told, because for our understanding, those businesses are still open, conduct business, and there have been issues in that area. So just wanted to note that. All right, thank you so much for your time. Have a good night.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, again, sorry about that. I know, Greg, if you do still want to answer or
No, I
address
think
anything
we
else that
addressed it
was said.
thoroughly.
Okay.
And if anyone has any concerns going forward, they're free to contact the planning department. I'll be happy to go through all the details with them of everybody's plans.
Good. Okay. All right. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the planning commission on this issue? Seeing none. Okay. After that, I know I have here asking the applicant if they would like to respond. I don't know that unless the applicant, did you have anything? I don't think so. No. Okay. Cool. Are there any documents to place in the administrative record?
There are none.
Or none? Okay. Do fellow commissioners have any final comments or questions for staff?
None? No?
It's more of a comment, it's not really a question, but I know I visited that place and I was monitoring it. I've noticed that I see a lot of in-house people, not really in-house people, I see a lot of people not, what do you call it? What's what I'm using? Savoring?
People
know,
that aren't supposed to be there.
Bordering on language that may not need to be
I
used. So
know.
let's just.
It's just that I just saw a lot of things that I didn't like to see. So I'm hoping that I know it is a cannabis business and so forth, but I'm hoping that it will beautify the place. Hopefully the police department also stays on top of this area, because I went two or three times and I'm just looking at it like, wow. So I think if this is here, if the cannabis business does get there, I think it will beautify the place, believe it or not. I think it would help out the whole
Absolutely.
area.
Yeah, having a viable retail business is always going to be better than a vacant building that lasts for decades. So we're very excited to see this opportunity.
Yes. Okay, that's it for me.
Yeah, I want to save my comment till the end of here, so nothing else on this one. Cool. So at this point, I will formally close the public hearing on this item. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion?
I second.
Secretary, please call for the vote.
Commissioner Houston,
Approved.
Vice Chairperson Cohens,
Approve.
and Chairperson Richard.
Approve.
Okay, this application is approved.
Thank you. All right, so we're on to design review application DR 2024-006. I think. Yeah, I'm right this time.
That's correct.
Okay. So now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider design review DR 2024-006. Senior Planner Maria Meherick will present the staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners. I will be presenting Design Review Application DR 2024-006, which is known as the Crenshaw Village Shopping Center, and it is located at 12730 Crenshaw Boulevard. As you can see from the vicinity and zoning map, this is in the C3 zoning designation, and it's located on the northeast corner of Crenshaw Boulevard and El Segundo Boulevard. this is the current site condition. The site itself is approximately 15,625 square feet. It is developed with a one-story retail building, 7 units or within this commercial shopping center. The building is approximately 5,600 square feet or so, and it was built in 1985, which you can see that from the type of facade that's there now. There have been improvements in the interior of the units as new tenants come in and out, but the outside is in need of repair. It's fallen into disrepair throughout the years. Some of the elements have faded. The applicants have tried to keep it somewhat painted, but this is what we have and what we've ended up with for now. So the city of Hawthorne has a very special program, which is known as the Commercial Facade Rehabilitation Program. And I do have our administrator, which is our housing department director, Ms. Kimberly Mack, who is a lot more familiar with the project, and she administers it. So if you have questions related to the project itself or the program itself, I'm sure she will gladly come up and answer those questions. We do have the designers here as well, which you will see some of the renderings, and also the property owner is in attendance. So the rehabilitation program provides financial assistance to the property owners in order to conduct renovations. So they only apply to the exterior facade improvements. So the funds cannot be utilized for anything else except for the facade. There is no expansion of the building. The program does not cover that anyway. The parking lot has been resurfaced and restriped by the owner, by the property owner. So in anticipation of the facade improvement, he went ahead and did those improvements. The signs will be part of the program itself, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And staff will review those signs as they come in individually per tenant, just to make sure that they meet the program's approval and they also meet the zoning regulations. The owner will be submitting separate landscaping and monument sign improvements separately. Those are also not covered through the program. So this is the proposed exterior facade. As you saw from the existing photos, it's an outdated design. This one is a much more modern design that is being proposed. The designers did provide a materials board so that, yes, thank you, Commissioner Richard. And you've all seen those. They are very durable materials. They will last a bit longer on this particular facade. And the paint color samples are before you as well. And this is one of the renderings of what it's going to look like in the front. They are proposing channel letters, which will modernize it with the new facade as well. A couple more exterior facade renderings. One of the things I do want to point out is on the side there. That is on the Crenshaw Street side. Right now, there is a very thin channel, which is supposed to be for landscaping, but also right adjacent to it are bus benches. And basically what happens there is just a little location for trash collection. And so what the designers have proposed is to remove that. And it'll just clean it up a bit more. It'll be easier to maintain. And there's also, I believe, some windows that are up higher, and they're just not really useful, and they're just covered with signage. from the business that's there. So in order to give it a better look and a more modern look, it was just better to clean it up completely. So with that, commissioners, based on the analysis that staff conducted, the proposal does comply with the Hawthorne Municipal Code. It will not result in additional negative or any negative impacts to the surrounding neighborhood. In fact, it will clean things up a bit more. And accordingly, staff does recommend that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission Resolution 2024-12, which will adopt the Notice of Exemption and will approve Design Review Application DR 2024-006. And that concludes my staff report. If you have any questions of myself or the designer or any of the folks that are here on behalf of this proposal.
Yep, does the Planning Commission have any questions for staff?
I'd like to know a little bit more about the commercial facade rehabilitation program.
I will bring up Ms. Kimberly Mack for that.
Beat me to it. Beat me to it, you did.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Go for it.
Good evening. Kimberly Mack, Director of Housing for the City of Hawthorne. How can I answer your questions?
I'm just curious how you qualify, what comes with it. I'd like to know just like give me 5 bullet points that tell me what I need to know. You don't need to go into detail. I mean like big detail because I know it's late and we want to get going. So just how do you qualify? Are there any restrictions that come with it, or when you get the money, what does it mean? Just those types of
You guys always want the short version. Let's see.
I want all the details.
I was just trying to make it easy.
I want all the
You
details.
want all the info. So it is funded
Before
through,
you start, real quick, pretend you're talking to all the businesses out there, because I would like them to, as what she said, is make sure that they would understand it, if that makes any sense. So if they, because we do want to encourage businesses to come here. And if they need any help in any way, we want them to come. And we want them to take advantage of these grants and so forth. So,
Absolutely.
table yours.
So the program is funded through our CDBG and home funds that we have through the federal government. Those funds, of course, have very tight restrictions through the federal government. We did a slum blight study over a certain area of the Hawthorne Boulevard, from 120th to El Segundo Boulevard and over to Crenshaw area, to determine if a certain percentage of the property did qualify for slum blight. After we did that study, then we determined 3 areas of assistance. Those that were under slum blight could be assisted without having to repay the grant to the city. There was only a certain amount of funding available for that, less than $600,000 for that amount. There's also additional pot of money that is available for those individuals who have full-time employees. They can get up to $30,000 per full-time employee to also work on the facade of their businesses. Or they can create and retain a position for the same amount, $30,000 per employee. The latter 2 opportunities or applications are, of course, more work because you're required to provide your income information, business information, banking information. You will be monitored for 12 months to ensure that those positions remain intact. So, of course, everybody wants the slum blight because it's a little bit quicker, less invasive, and you don't have to pay it back. We were able to quickly find 2 businesses, or 2 businesses applied for the slum blight that basically took up the award for those, and that was Crenshaw Village and another one that we're working with right now. So we do have available on our website is our application, a complete program guidelines as well for the job retention and the job creation applications, where there's a little bit over $900,000 available for that. So if those funds don't get used, then they will be reallocated. So I do encourage every business to apply and see if they can use those funds to beautify their property.
Great.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you answered my question, which was how we advertise this program, and it's mainly through the website. Does Hawthorne City, are we doing any proactive reaching out to businesses to say, hey, you qualify for this, and reach out?
We do. We always do the major reach outs of our social media, our mail outs, even handouts, sometimes going door to door saying, if we can speak to your landlord or the owner of the property to see if they're interested, because there is a partnership that's required if the tenant does not own the building, of course. Trying to have general conversations and just reaching out to anybody who we think would participate in the program. Of course, our website is always up for the housing department, which is where it's listed at. And initially, all flyers and things that go out are on the city calendar as well.
And then one last question, just for a project like this, I know this is the property owner owns the overall landscape, and then you have tenants who are there. Is there any allocation or anything taken into consideration for those businesses that may be impacted during the time of remodeling? If, for instance, I mentioned this specifically, one of my favorite burger places in Hawthorne is the Mobetta Burger that's in that parking lot, so I go there all the time. So I'm wondering, like, as they're remodeling, does that, like, do we help them if they have to close for a few days, or how does that work?
You will get your burger. There
Thank
will be
you.
no
I need my
closures.
fries.
During the work, there's no closure, so there's no adverse effect to the businesses. It's very, very important to us.
Just in that theme, with the grants that do not have to be repaid, is there any stipulations on that? Can they remove tenants so they can get more money because it looks prettier now? Like, is there anything in there? Is it just up to the landlord's or owner's discretion?
Well, landlords and tenants are on a legal and binding lease, so just because they are being assisted by this program doesn't mean that our regulations can impede on that. If their lease is up and they don't want to renew, of course, that's up to them.
Perfect.
But if they have a vacancy, then they have the opportunity to say, look at what we're offering now.
Great, perfect, thank you.
Oh, you mentioned the signs. So do the businesses that are the tenants there, do they also kind of benefit there? Like they get a new and updated or revamped sign to advertise themselves? Or is that something that the tenants would need to like take care of on their own?
So the tenants will have a say in how the signage kind of looks or the wording that they want on it. But it kind of will be uniform to the project for sure. And as long as it's attached to the building, it's included with the project at no cost to that business.
Oh, nice. Okay. Anyone else?
Nope, that's it. I just have just questions on the roofing, if there is anything on that roofing, because I know, was there enough for the roofing? Are they going to do the roof?
So the project does not include the roofs. Commercial facade is street facing only. Unless there's something that has to be attached to the roof in order for the facade to fit, like a new awning or something that requires a small amount of repair, then there is no changes to the roof.
Okay, so looking at the roof, though, and of course, the new facade that's going to go on there, if there is damage to the roof, say that there's a leak or so forth, and it's not up to speed, wouldn't it create damage on the facade itself if we have damage?
Hi, how are you guys? My name is Afi. I'm a licensed architect, and I'm the architect assigned on this project, and I've been working with the wonderful team behind me on this project so far. So, great question. With the roof being excluded from the actual scope, what we have kind of implemented in the permit set that would be reviewed by the building department is that if there are any existing conditions that need to be repaired or patched, that the general contractor must notify the owner, and they would need to act behalf of basically repairing and patching up any work that needs to be done. If you see in some of the renderings and stuff, there is going to be some of the moldings that are going to be removed. When those moldings are removed, basically there's going to be some flashing and things like that exposed. What we're going to redo is that we're going to patch and repair all with the standard of care of construction, and the general contractor who will be assigned to this project will be able to also make sure that all of those are protected. In case of any major repairs needed, then I'm also recommending in a letter of work to the owners that they would be kind of conducting a thorough inspection of the roof, where the conditions and the age and all of that is going to be measured out, and then have a plan of action, because I would hate to kind of go through this project and really beautify the the facade of the building, but then having some roof leaks and all of that. But in general, it looks to be in good condition. Some patching and repair might be able to, kind of do the job for now, but also encouraging that the ownership kind of takes it from here and makes sure that not only the facade and all the materials that are very durable, designed for long term, but also the roof is attended to and taken care of over the years.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me.
For sure. Well, thank you. Really excited and happy to have you here, Kimberly. Thank you for, I was excited. We got a Kimberly Mack presentation today, so this is awesome. So thank you for being
Thank
here.
you, Kimberly.
Appreciate you guys.
And you're great, by the way. I notice your work, what you do for the city. I'm speechless at the things that you do. You're such a great asset to the city of Hawthorne. And I really just want to commend you for the things that you do for the city. And you're, like I said, you're a wonderful asset. So thank you for the things that you do for the city and your good work. Okay?
Thanks, Kimberly.
Ditto, appreciate it.
I know.
Okay. Guys, team here, I think we are on, is the applicant present and would they like to speak?
Okay.
We're glad to see you here. Thank you
Yes,
for being
thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Mr. McLean, or is there anyone else who would like to address the planning commission on this issue? I see Vaughn stood up, but I think he's leaving. But I hope he was gonna, I hope he was gonna tell us something. Okay, never mind. All right, so.
Say how much he likes Mo Burger. That's all he was going to say.
Look, shout out to Mobetta Burger. Awesome burger place. If you guys haven't been there, should go all the time. It's amazing. Let's see. Was there any, Mr. McLean, are there any documents to place in the administrative record?
There are none.
Fellow commissioners, have any final comments or questions for staff?
Yes, I do. I know you mentioned the bus stop.
Thank you.
I do, well, my curiosity is, I do want to clean up that area. And also, every time I looked at that bus stop, to be honest with you, because I live in that vicinity, in that area and so forth, I always said that was a safety hazard. So I'm kind of glad that it's gone, because that parking, it's just too much going on. So I think it'll be a pro that it is gone, personally. And it'll also clean up the area. I'm just wondering, I know that there was a lot of trash, trash is left and so forth because of that little area, but I'm wondering if is it going to clean up the rest of the area next to the east side of the building where the trash can is? Or
You mean, sorry.
where the trash
on
can is located at?
Where the bus stop is? Where
Yes,
the trash can
well,
is?
yeah, where the bus stop is, but on the opposite side, because I know there's always like the wind, the trash, and so forth, and there's always a lot of trash in that area because there's that there's that open space on that other side, and it's unused and so forth.
Oh, next door where the apartment building is.
No, I think she means the Dominguez Channel side.
Yeah, the,
Yeah, closer
the
to that,
channel.
yeah.
Channel.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I know we'll clean up that little area, but I'm wondering if we're gonna is it gonna help clean up that area? You
Well,
think?
The program is restricted to street-facing frontages, so that will not be
Yeah.
part of this program unless the property owner decides to, on his own dime, to continue the look. But that's not a requirement.
No, I know it's not a requirement, but I was just wanting to clean up the whole area because I'm pretty sure it helps out the owner as well. If the whole place is cleaned up, it helps out his business as well.
If I may, the one thing that we're recommending, and is included in some of the elevations, I believe, is that on both sides, on west side, we're recommending removal of the storefront and applying stucco and then anti-graffiti coating, which is the point I wanted to get to. We're also recommending the same application on the other side, so the whole building is basically getting repainted, but on top of that, with the paint colors that you're seeing, we're recommending a very good standard anti-graffiti coating that would be kind of applied to throughout the building. Wherever you see the stucco, it would have it on there. As far as like the wooden part or the metal siding panels go, They're already going to have some sort of a coating on it, and it's very minimal where it's going to be reachable by, bypassers, I believe. And the rest of it is going to be way higher on a facade. But anti-graffiti coating is what we're recommending for that general thing, and then removal of that window, cleaning up that kind of corner, adding more landscaping on the west side. And when I walked the side, I basically couldn't really access the east side myself. I believe there was like a little gate and things like that, so I didn't really walk there myself. So it's already, I think, it's being a little closed off to, people who might walk by there.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
I did have a question about the bus stop. So, as the bus stop is, outside of the business, so that part still counts as facade, or are we still able to remove that under this program?
Remove the,
I think you mentioned there were bus benches there.
Yes,
And the bus
those-
benches will be removed?
the bus benches will not be removed because
Okay.
they are not part of the project or on the private property.
Okay, that's, okay. I
Okay, I'm
misheard.
sorry. Hold on. I must have got it wrong then.
Because that's what I thought. That's what I thought I
Okay,
heard, and I'm glad you brought it up because that was the
Oh,
question I wanted to ask.
Okay, so
was-
it's not going to be gone.
The bus stop will remain. That is not going to be removed. What is going to be removed is this little channel of where landscaping is supposed to be, but it's literally less than a foot. And right beside that is where the bus benches are. And what occurs is that within that little area, just a bunch of trash accumulates right there.
Gotcha, okay.
So that's what I meant by cleaning that up on the property itself, the facade itself. And that's what the architect has mentioned.
That makes sense, because at one point, I thought you were saying that we were removing the bus benches,
That's
and
what I
thus
thought.
the bus
Oh,
stop wasn't
apologies.
going
No,
to be
we're-
there.
yeah, apologies.
And
No,
you
we're-
see-
That makes,
yeah.
that makes
And
sense.
I was all excited about moving that because it's a safety issue, and it's still a concern to me on that, but I guess we can, since it's not part of this project, we can discuss it some other time.
So,
because-
I was super glad she said that they didn't, because
Yes.
because I'm like, there's a bus stop there, and if we're just not going to have a bus bench for people to go to the bus.
Well, no,
it's
they're
crazy.
on the other
It's still
side,
gonna
there
be
is,
there.
on the
okay.
other side, there's another bus stop, so that's why I was like, it's not gonna really make a difference, because there's a light there, it's a four-way, and I was just like, and then, these cars going through, and I'm just like looking at children, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what's going on over here?
Okay.
But we can attack that some
Different
other
thing.
time.
Different thing.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other comments or questions? I think we're all good here. Okay. If there's no questions, I'll formally close the public hearing on these items. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Secretary, please call for the vote.
Vice Chairperson Cohen's,
Approve.
Commissioner Houston,
Approved.
and Chairperson Richard.
Yes.
This item is approved.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you being here. Okay, Jay, items to be placed on future agendas.
At this time, we don't have anything.
Perfect.
That doesn't mean that something won't show up, but.
No. We're gonna go with the first. We're gonna go with the first thing. Okay. Commissioner reports. So we're gonna start over here.
Oh, it's me first?
It's you first today. Bye, Kimberly.
Let me see. I attended a coffee with a cop at the Marriott. It was a great event. And then there was also Del Ced coffee there, and I got one of her cups. So I do appreciate that. Great coffee. It's from Guatemala. So I'm glad that, we're supporting her. We're supporting her business and so forth. And she also has her coffee at the Marriott hotel that they pass out, like for visitors who just pass through. So I'm very excited for her, and excited that she brings her coffee to the city of Hawthorne, because I love her coffee. So I have a comment. I'm not sure. I know I've discussed this, just a small piece on solar panels. On the solar panels for the businesses, I know, well, from my understanding, I guess there's really not any ordinances. I know anybody can put solar panels, but my worry is if we have solar panels going up for businesses, are we able to give them a direction of where the conduits are going to be? Because I was just thinking about this, and I said, okay, say the solar panels are going to be coming and so forth, and by 2030 something or whatever, I'm just thinking about the solar panel and the conduits outside those businesses. Are we able to control the conduits that are outside?
Not generally. Solar panels are highly restricted by state law now, and conduits tend to follow the shortest path from one place to the other. We haven't seen it as a concern so far. We haven't noticed any that are, across the front of a building or something like that. So if you're aware of any like that, let me know, and then we can take a look and see what we can do within the law. But generally speaking, solar panels are a very streamlined and very fast administrative process now with the building department.
So there's no way of controlling it, at least?
There's no design
Can we control it?
opportunities.
Because I know it's the
Basically,
shortest path, but they can
yeah.
also have it where they can go under
Yeah,
and
yeah.
towards the roof.
We don't
instead
have,
of
we have
make-
no ability to
Control that.
control design of
Is there a
these
way to
things.
control that?
No. Only through suggestion.
And not
But-
even a
But
specific
like I said,
plan?
we haven't noticed any, any that are a problem so far. If you're aware of any, let me know.
And we can't even, I know,
No. So
it can't even be in the
it was
specific
about
plan of any
Federally-
type, nothing.
federally-
6 years
federally
ago, they were taken
regulated.
completely out of the discretionary realm and put into an administrative streamlined process by the state.
Okay. It was a try.
Yep.
And of course, you already answered my question on the, for the cannabis business, on the, if it's changed and so forth. You guys are staying on top of that, so I do appreciate it. And I guess the distribution centers and so forth, we have no handling in that. I'm assuming that it's something,
They're strictly limited to industrial zones, so there's really no, and the exteriors aren't being modified. It's pretty much a security issue, just to make sure that they have the cameras and whatever that they need. So there's no need for discretion there.
okay, that was my concern on the security, because they're still almost operating the same way, but
It
it'd be a
comes, it
cultivation
comes
center.
in during the plan check process, because they all have to install security cameras and such. So it comes in under the electrical and somewhat mechanical plan check processes.
Okay.
And police are involved in that too.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. And that is it for me. Thank you very much. And again, if you have any concerns or whatever, please come up to us and voice your concerns. Also, for businesses, again, we do, if you're out there and you want to come to Hawthorne, please come visit us. There's great opportunities out here. So it's, if you're going to come into the city of Hawthorne, I would recommend to do it now, since this is the best time. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Commissioner Houston?
Sure. The only thing I'm going to say is that, I'm on our website here for the cityofhawthorne.org, and we do have a section on cannabis here, but we do get a lot of questions about the safety and what's in there. And I have, at every spot that we've been so far, I have talked to my contacts in the police department to kind of get their feelings. And it is that they all feel good about what's going in, that it does reduce crime, I think if we could have like a one-pager or a white paper on our website under the cannabis for residents that can see those stats and to see how the community in a general of the elected officials and the police department are feeling, it might lower some anxiety about it, because even with Mr. Rubin that was here today, I mean, it's valid, but he's more worried about the other businesses that are there versus the cannabis business, right? He didn't have an issue with the cannabis business, he had an issue with the other resources there.
One of them in particular.
Right, but what I'm saying is that that's not what's causing the problem. And I just think that if we could have something that educates people a little more on that, it might go a long way. That's all. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Okay, fully agree with everything Jen said, and actually that was part of my comments, something I wanted to talk about. So I know we did a very extensive conversation about the sensitive uses and how we actually decided where everything was going to be placed. I don't know that we still have that information kind of like publicly available where people can take a look and reread it. And if it is, still doing something to let folks know where it is, so they could see that again. This is more of a personal question. I was wondering this about the city. First off, before I go through this, congratulations to everybody being up here for this being our last cannabis application at this point. So good job on everybody for making it through this part. Now Now, the question wanted to ask is one thing we discussed when we remodeled what the sensitive uses were, the way we put them together were very similar to what we did with alcohol. We're very similar to the same, so I was wondering if we could get a kind of a side-by-side comparison of how many businesses we have in the city that serve alcohol, that have liquor licenses versus the number of where they're located compared to where we have like, let's call it, compared to where we have cannabis dispensaries.
Okay.
Is one thing that we consistently see from the community is, hey, this cannabis dispensary is being placed too close to a daycare, or being too close to this church, or too close to these specific places, where I can count now, if I'm thinking about one that came up recently, we have 2 to 3 establishments that serve alcohol in the same vicinity, if not more. So I just want to be able to say, to see where these sensitive uses are, and maybe that can help us guide where we're going before. Not to say we have to change it, but just, question in that regard. Yeah, so appreciate that. Again, I'm gonna say, appreciate them coming in here, for glad that you guys are utilizing these projects to help revitalize some of these businesses around. Say it again, Obeta Burger is awesome. You should all go over there. It's great. It's a great, no, I go all the time. One thing I wish I had seen from the project was some improvement to the parking, as that parking lot is kind of difficult, but I know it's not part of the thing. We can't do that. But when I saw it come up, I was like, oh, they're going to fix the parking lot. This is going to be great. But that's fine. I wanted to say, today I went to go take a look at the job fair that we had. It was super awesome. It was very nice, very well attended. Good event that we had together. Belated Happy Mother's Day to everybody here, all the mothers, to those of us who have mothers, and obviously all have mothers in the lives, sisters, anybody else. Appreciate you guys for all the work that you do. So I want to give kudos to Attorney Kim. Appreciate you for being here and bringing up the Schedule 3 thing when it comes to cannabis. Is stuff that's important for us to pay attention to. And again, just say thank you for all of your work. And finally, an apology for my being late. I swear I thought the meeting was canceled. I don't know why I thought that, but I did think that. So if there's nothing else, we'll call the meeting adjourned at 7:47. See you guys back here next time.